What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with me. If you've been here before, thanks for hanging out with me again. I'm Dell. This is Dell on Movies, and we have another episode of Movie Swap getting ready to start up. And my guest tonight, he's a hard-working YouTuber. He's on live a lot. He's got a whole crew with him a lot of times, or at least a few of his buddies with him, and they do a lot of great work and talk about a lot of great movies. And I am talking about Luke Ponto. What's going on, Luke?
What's up?
I am happy to have you, sir. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, definitely been a long time coming there, Dell. You don't say.
Yeah. So let's talk about your channel for a bit. So, like I said, you're on live quite a bit, and you got a few buddies that kind of rotate in and out with you. How did all that come about?
Honestly, mainly because most nights I don't really have anything else to do, so I just go live just to I don't know how to say this better, but just shoot the shit. So,
Nothing wrong with
um,
that.
so, but yeah, I mean, I love to try to get a crew together, just to talk movies and also, because honestly, for a lot of my life, I've annoyed the living piss out of people just talking about movies because, I mean, I've used a lot of movies as my escape on life because life was just rough, even like during when I was a kid. So that's the reason why I would watch a lot of movies.
Mhm.
So yeah, and yeah. Plus, I since I've really started to grow this channel, I've been able to go to the theater a lot more and actually get more reviews out for you guys. So it's fun doing reviews, but the worst part about it is the editing.
Oh man, yeah.
Like,
I I know usually most of my audience are content creators, some are not. Um, so just to kind of give those that are not an idea. So let's say you go do a review and your review is a few minutes long. How long is the editing process for you?
well, usually a lot of the time it doesn't take me all that long. It's just with how do I say this? It's when I do my grading. Like once I get to that, it's like how do I just need to like find like the right position and also where like what picture do I use to also put the grade on it. So,
Right.
and also even just to get that in, I also have to extract my audio to get that to fit right through. Um it's never easy, but honestly when you're doing longer videos, it's a hell of a lot worse
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
cuz It because when I did my best and worst of lists for 2024, they were not easy to edit.
No.
So,
No.
because let me take a look here for a second on my end for that. Yeah, because my best of list was 22 minutes, and my worst of list was nearly 20 minutes. So,
And yeah, I know I have a few of those videos. Matter of fact, at the middle of last year, you can't see it really, but over there, I have a whole shelf that has all of my comic book and superhero movies. So I just did a video showing those, and the video wound up being an hour long. And the editing, because it was I was getting ahead of myself because you just kind of trying to show and go. It's like, hey, this one and then this one. So I was kind of talking over things. So the editing process took days, and it was just I was so happy when I was done. I was like, I don't want to see this again for a long time. That's for sure.
that was why I gave up on the editing process for my Blu-ray collection, so I'm just gonna live stream it and just do it all in one.
Yeah.
Cause I've been trying to find specific days to get it done, but not only does life get in the way, personal funny little story. When I was taking my dog out the other night, or I think it was a couple weeks ago, actually. Now that I think about it, um, my ankle twisted, so
Mm,
wasn't a break, neither a sprain, just twisted.
okay. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
and sometimes like I have to sit down on the ground, especially when I'm out in the hallway, which is where I do some of my stuff. So, and I don't want to be able to sit on my ankle like that because it hurts.
Yeah.
So,
No,
but
yeah. I understood.
But yeah, can you give me just a couple of minutes though? I'm gonna be right back.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. While Luke is taking care of some business there, one, let me see. I do see one comment there. What's going on, Adrian? Adrian is here. Adrian is the man. Hopefully, that means Holland is shortly behind because those two kind of pop up everywhere. And it's been going pretty good for me. We'll get back into Luke when he gets here. Um, if anyone is watching this on a replay from the future, or Adrian yourself, I am still looking for people to enter the giveaway that I announced a couple of weeks back. It's small channel problems, guys. The giveaway was for a copy, a Criterion Blu-ray of The Big Chill. So I have a few people, but I would like for a few more people to get in before I gave it away. So if you're watching this from the not too distant future, because hopefully, I'll get more people and give this thing away. But you can always check in the description of this video is a link to will be a link to that video, and you can just go into the comment section there and put hashtag chill. That lets me know you're interested in winning the big chill. Or if after this video is finished, if you're watching it live, after this video is finished, you can also do the same thing in the comment section here. So hashtag chill for anybody who wants to win a copy of the Big Chill. I would grab it, but I don't know exactly where it is. It's oh no, it is here. Nope, it's getting here. Hold on, everybody. There it is. There's the Big Chill. Luke, what I was telling people while you were gone is that I started a giveaway a couple weeks back, and I'm giving away this Criterion edition of the Big Chill. So if anybody wants to, they can go in the description and see the video that I did this with, and go to that video and put hashtag chill in the comments. And even though you are a movie swap guest, you are eligible if you want the Big Chill, Luke.
Awesome.
All right. So you're back, and it was a really basic question here from Adrian. How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. So had a long. Honestly, thank God I got off. Well, no, I didn't get off at the time. I was done with my stuff at work by 1:30 this afternoon.
Okay, that's good.
So, but I wasn't able to leave until like 20 after 2.
Okay, so you had almost an hour just kind of goofing off.
So literally all I just did was just go in the break room and just chill.
Hey, it's free money, right?
Yeah. Fair point though, actually.
All right, so and backstage before the show started, we were kind of talking about Terrified 3, and we talked about some other movies also. So is horror your favorite genre, or is there something else?
For the most part, horror is my favorite genre, but there are also days when action movies are also up there for me, as well as musical biopics.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I gotta so yeah, like these three genres are like my bread and butter: horror, action, and musical biopic.
All right, so musical biopics. I got a question for you then. Well, a couple of questions actually. If the first one is a yes, and that is, have you seen The Doors?
I have.
Okay. So my next question, let me preface it by Movies with Sue from Movies with Sue. She was posting today on Instagram, and she got a 4K copy of The Doors. She said she can't wait to watch it. And I just commented, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. I saw the movie, and I'll give you my thoughts in a minute, but what did you think of The Doors?
Now, to be completely honest, though, I'm not like a huge Doors fan. Like, I don't listen to them constantly, like on a repeat.
Mhm.
But I thought with what Oliver Stone was able to accomplish with telling that story and having Val Kilmer play what was his name? Jim Morrison?
Yeah.
Okay. I was right. Thank God. um I thought he did a really good job embodying Jim Morrison, and like I said, what Oliver Stone was able to accomplish, I think he did a really good job. So,
Okay.
but I'm gonna say this though. I'm not sure if you're gonna ask this as a question. I think the biggest struggle with recent music biopics is them just mainly kind of giving the more positive end of somebody's life rather than
Okay.
telling their full on story. Like that's something I think they've been struggling with lately, but from what I've heard about with Better Man, the Robbie Williams biopic where he's played by a CGI chimp. Um I've heard that one actually tells a lot more of his story rather than just the positives of his life.
Okay. Okay. All right. So for me, for The Doors in particular, I'm gonna say this: the Val Kilmer was amazing, but I thought the movie was kind of a mess. But whatever. As far as musical biopics, I get where you're coming from. Do you have a couple of favorites for me?
Um I can name my top 3 favorites.
Okay.
Um I can't tell you exactly what my favorite is because I think all 3 of these can be tied, which are Rocket Man, the Elton John biopic, um
Really good movie.
Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash biopic,
Yep.
and Bohemian Rhapsody cuz I am a huge fan of Queen.
I'm gonna have to draw the line with Bohemian Rhapsody on you, but I really do really like Walk the Line and Rocket Man. Those were really good. I Bohemian Rhapsody, I got nothing from. It was like it was a one scene. Every scene was okay. Here's how we made this song. Freddie's gay. Oh, here's how we made this song. Freddie's still gay. Here's how we made this song. I was just, can we give me something else? But anyway, but I know some people love it, some people hate it. I will say this: the finale, the Wembley Stadium performance, that was great.
Yes, the but to be completely
That was
honest
one of
though,
them.
Rami Malek deserved the Oscar win to play when he played Freddie Mercury.
He was good. He was really good. No
Like,
doubt about it.
but I have to say this though about musical biopics. If you actually want to make it somewhat good, the you have to really embody that person
Yeah.
and what they were like. I mean, even though I liked Bob Marley One Love, I didn't learn a ton about him. All I really got out of it was basically his story about the creation of this one album.
Hmm.
And it had some really awkward time jumps that I was just so confused by. Like when it's like, could you just started the movie like that rather than just going jump, 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 jump?
Right, right. I actually like that one more than Bohemian Rhapsody. But like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Bohemian Rhapsody. Um, and I know the creation of the album was the centerpiece. I leaned more into everything else that was happening politically and all that kind of thing. I know there's a lot of things they left out. They definitely gave all the positives of Marley and left out the negatives. I get that too, but
Yeah.
I did enjoy it though.
Yeah, I liked it too. It's just there were definitely things that needed improvement, and also it they I do agree they should have added more stuff, but it really should have um evened out the pacing. Because
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
completely honest, man, that movie is slow as hell.
yeah. I'll
Mm.
give you that. I'll definitely go with you on that one. It is pretty slow.
Like, wait, let me see how long it is quick. Yeah, it's an hour and 47 minutes, and I'm like, it's that slow?
It feels a little bit longer. Yeah, it definitely feels longer.
Yeah, but I don't know. That's just me looking for things to complain about, to be honest.
That's what we do when we when we're trying to review something. We're looking for something. All right. So it is us, is Adrian, and we got his comments. So I'm gonna kick it over to you, sir, and let Adrian and whoever else pops in later know what movie you had me watch.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, um, the movie I had Dell watch was a little A24 film from last year called Y2K. Um, so basically, let me give you the rundown of this movie. So basically, two high school juniors that are played by Jaden Martell and Julian Dennison decide to crash a New Year's party, and um, I was trying to spit off all these thoughts without fucking up everything, but it is what it is. Um, and he's also wanting to get the midnight kiss of the girl. To clarify, Martell's character wants to get the midnight kiss of the girl of his dreams, Laura, played by Rachel Zegler. And once the clock strikes midnight, and also, again, I'm pretty sure everybody knows this, but I want to make this clear before I go any further. The film takes place on New Year's Eve of 1999. And so once the clock strikes midnight, Y2K is about to strike. And I always like to think of it as if what if people thought was going to happen on Y2K actually did happen, but it was a computer apocalypse. So after the clock strikes midnight, the computer starts striking and going after people, trying to wipe out the human race. And things happen from there.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happens after that. Um, I've lived through Y2K, the actual Y2K, and I'll say that in starting around 96, 97, you know, everybody was really starting to get worried about what would happen. And that what happens in these movies was kind of on the list. It was like, okay, they're gonna just go haywire. The other thing was, every computer is gonna just shut down, and planes are gonna be dropping out of the sky or crashing into each other because there's no air traffic control, and we won't have any money. Banks will be shut down, and I don't know if you've ever watched any stories or from back then, but there were people literally that had like rooms full of toilet paper, and they would do these interviews, and I'm like, yeah, once Y2K happens, once all the computers shut down, this is going to be the new currency. And they had batteries stored up and water stored up. It was crazy for like those 3 years. It was people really really worried. So on the night of December 31st, 99, you know, going into 2000, people really were watching the clock really closely and kind of looking around when the clock hit zero to see what happened. So it was a wild time. So it was crazy. It was kind of like I guess I would liken it to I think it was October 12th, 2012, when the world was supposed to end. I would liken it to that. If I think you're old enough for that one, right?
Yes,
um, to,
definitely.
to remember what was going on at that time. So I would liken it to that, but cranked up to 1,000. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, but getting to the movie. So yeah, we got Eli is the Jaden Martell character,
Yep.
and yeah, he's trying to get the girl. He wants to get the girl, but like in a lot of teen sex movies, he's too shy, too nerdy, too whatever, and he's got his best friend who's more outgoing, and he's the best friend's played by Julian Dennison. Uh, I really love from Hunt for the Wilder People, and most people know from Deadpool 2. Um, he was the best friend, and he was really rambunctious and fun. And what did you think of their relationship, like at the start of the movie?
I actually kind of related to their relationship, like, um, especially since I actually have friends like both of them.
Hmm.
Like, I actually really related to them. I actually think that their friendship was actually not only pretty sweet but pretty damn funny
Yeah, it was pretty
because um like before they even decide to go to the party, like they're literally just on the couch just watching Junior.
good. Yep.
Like like typical Friday night right there. Just go ahead, go to the video store, grab a movie, and then go to your friend's house on a Friday night and pop in the movie.
Yeah, and have debates about it, about the possibilities of what's going on with it. So that was pretty good. And
Yeah,
then
I really
go
loved
ahead.
a lot of the like some of the clever meta humor that they use in this movie. Um
Hmm.
there's a lot of meta humor. Um but it's not like to a point where it's just like oh my like you're like oh my god, shut the fuck up.
Right, right, right.
Like
They're not really going over too many people's heads.
right. Like they at least keep the jokes to a point where it's like it doesn't always flow over everybody's heads. Like most people are able to actually get the jokes.
Hmm.
Um, but also another thing I also really love about this film is the soundtrack. Like
Yeah, it had a pretty good soundtrack.
nostalgic soundtrack. Now, to be clear, I never lived through Y2K,
Hmm.
but um I've listened to a lot of the music that they play in this movie because of stuff on the radio or it's because they play songs that I'm really into. Namely, I'm into rock music, but
Hmm.
um, they got stuff like Corn, you got stuff like Limp Bizkit on the soundtrack, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
this is
it's
something for me.
yeah, it's a lot of those songs also just became just big songs too. So it's something that even if you weren't into Corn, you've heard the song probably, right?
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah, and it's a few songs on here like that. So it's like all throughout the movie when something comes on, I'm like, oh, they got this song. Oh, okay, cool. So that was a big plus. And we're gonna get back to Limp Bizkit because they play a major role in
yeah,
this
they
movie.
definitely do.
They definitely play a big role. So they got to work up the courage to go to this big party, and they get there, and I was a little disappointed with Danny's the best friend played by Julian Dennison. I was a little disappointed with Danny because of the method in which he thought that he was hyping up his buddy was little strange. He's telling people basically that he urinated on him and he liked it, or no, on his food, I think is what, in his drink, and he drank it or something like that. I can't remember now. But his logic was weird to me. I was like, no, dude, why you don't do that to your buddy? I don't. Am I the only one feel that way?
I thought it was funny.
It was funny, but I was like, if I'm Eli, I don't know. I'm upset with that too.
I don't know, like it's hard to even talk about right now. Like, it, but yeah, I mean, it definitely would be like something that people would say when they get so drunk at a party.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I was like especially like when he said that, I was like, how much vodka did this kid drink?
yeah. and and if you don't drink, the effects could be pretty drastic. So
Yeah, and
I
plus I don't drink all that often either, so there you go.
no. At this point in the movie though, nothing had really had nothing major had happened. Let me put it that way. So I was getting real super bad vibes at that point. I don't know if you saw the same or not.
I mean, it definitely has those vibes of super bad. Like I kind of like in this film to basically super like it starts off like super bad, but as the film progresses, it basically becomes this is the end.
Yes, yes, great, great. Glad you brought that up. Yes, it definitely had that feel to it also. Um, yeah, it definitely had that feel to it also. Just quick check in. I do see my man Steve is here. What's going on, Steve? He just says hi, y'all.
What's
And
up?
Tiana has popped in. Hey, Tiana. She says, hey, everyone.
What's up?
So glad to see you guys have made it. And so we get to midnight, and like you said, Y2K happened, and these machines just start going bananas. I'm gonna well, you know what? Before we get to that, let's talk about some of these characters that we have in the in at this party. Of course, we have Rachel. I think it's Rachel. No, she's
Yeah,
played
Rachel
by
Zegler. She's one of the
Ziegler's
people
character.
at the party because when it was that scene in the convenience store, like when Eli was talking to Laura um that she said she was going to the party and she said it was going to be like a total shit show.
Yeah, yeah,
And to be fair, like once they do get to the party, it kind of is.
kind of
So,
is.
but it just depends on like what side of the coin you're on whenever like you go to a party.
Yeah, and it's we got trope characters basically. You got a jock, you got a popular kid who's an asshole. You got all these, and that kid, by the way, we another kid, Soccer Chris, played by Kid Leroy. Are you familiar with Kid Leroy?
I wasn't familiar with him until I saw this movie.
I was familiar with him because my daughters they went to a phase where they were listening to him for a little while, and I saw it even in this movie, but when I first saw him when he was a little younger, I was like, "Oh, this is Justin Bieber light. This is this is who he is." He looked like him. His music was kind of like Bieber's, so that was cool. Um, there was one other character, the older character, and I lost his name already. Um, but the guy that the older guy, what is his name?
Are you talking about what's it? Are you talking about Garrett?
Yes, Garrett. Thank
Oh, there.
you.
Okay, I was about to say that was Kyle Mooney's character.
Yes, Garrett. Uh,
Freaking stoner.
yes, 100%. 100%. And they just keep encountering him at strange times, at least early on in the movie, and then they get back to him. All right, so yeah, Y2K finally happens, and machines go crazy, and I'll let you kind of give an idea of what happens when the machines first start going off at this party.
Okay, so but first off, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this before I go any further. If you guys have not seen Y2K, this will contain a few spoilers.
All
So,
right, here we go. Let's
because
do it this way.
okay,
Go for it.
spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Okay, so I'm going to spoil just a few of them. I'm not going to spoil every single one of them, but I'll tell you this: at least there's only like one kill that's really given in the trailer. Um, but but first off, um, the way this whole chaos starts is a little like toy car coming up to a dude with a can of spray and a lighter, and it lifts up, lights, you've got mail, and then boom, sets his head on fire.
And it burns for quite a while. It's a pretty it's not as gruesome as it sounds. If anybody out there is adverse to gore, because you really just see fire. You don't really see
Well,
anything.
there is there is a couple gorier things that do occur in a like about
Yes,
a few seconds after it starts.
yes, absolutely. For me, blender to the crotch.
Yep.
That was
And
that was amazing.
I'm oh yeah, when Kid Leroy was trying to get Rachel Zegler to go with him, like because of the shit that's going on, and then she's like, "No, I'll just stick with these two." And she and then Leroy's like, "Yeah, go ahead and die with these losers." Yeah, maybe I will, asshole. And then, so basically,
Yeah.
karma gets to him because the dishwasher opens, he trips
hmm
over it, and his head goes in the freaking microwave.
hmm Yep. Microwave to the head. Reminiscent of the last House on the Left remake.
Yep.
Definitely.
But and then and then I don't know exactly what happened, but I think a chick got shot like in the belly or something. She falls over, and then a Tamagotchi drills through her head,
hmm hmm So
and
yeah,
I'm
it
like,
gets pretty rough, pretty
yikes.
quick, and it's handled in a way though where you can still laugh at it, right? It's not
Yeah, like it can be shocking, but but like you said, they handle it in a way where it's also funny.
right. So it's not like backstage before we were talking about Terrifier 3. It's not that, or any of the Terrifier movies. It's not trying to induce vomiting. Okay, it's not it's not doing that. Even if it's gory in spots, but it's not trying to do that. It's just it's very much played for laughs. Um, and my note there was the population of the movie is rapidly decreasing because kids are getting off left, right, and center, and they finally kind of make an escape, but we get a I call it a Voltron of machines. All the machines just kind of come together and form together and come walking out of the garage pretty much, or trying to break into the garage rather while they were escaping from the garage. And finally, when it breaks through the door, you get to see it. What do you think when that happened?
Uh, it was pretty intense, like when that was happening. But again, spoiler warning, as it says on the little banner right here. Danny gets killed,
Uh,
and I was like, no.
yeah, yeah. I
But at the
was getting
same
there. You
time,
got me.
I appreciated that Kyle Mooney had balls to do it.
hmm hmm
So
when it happened, I was like, yeah, I was like, whoa, we took him out like that quick. Okay, that was interesting, and yeah, I'm with you though. Yeah, I'm glad he definitely took some stones to do that because to me at that point he was the most engaging character,
I can
and
kind of agree with some people though that they do kind of keep killing off the funniest characters, but then at the same time, it's like, um, you don't always need the funniest characters to keep your movie afloat.
right, right, okay. Just for we had a couple people come in. Our Life in Horror, another great channel. Uh, here's a good evening,
What's up?
and my buddy Guy, he says, "Hey there, everyone, please hit the like button." Yes, please hit the like button if you're here. I would much appreciate it. And of course, everybody's favorite Tony is here. What's going on, Tony?
What's going on, Tony?
And all right, so that looks like everybody. Um, so back to this deal. Yeah, it took a lot for them to do it, and yeah, they don't necessarily have to. You don't necessarily have to have your the funniest character, but at the same time, I was kind of shocked by it, and I was wondering what were they going to do next. Did you have any idea where they were going to go with the story after that?
I don't know. I kind of had a feeling like where they were gonna go. Like they were just gonna go around the woods just trying to find more of the computers that are trying to hunt them down. And then I think that's also, by that point, that's also when they encounter Garrett again, and he whips out a bong.
Yeah, Garrett is kind of he knows what's going on, but he's kind of unfazed by it. He's kind of like, yeah, it'll pass, kind of deal. And we're out here, nobody's gonna bother us way out here. There's no machines. I think I can't remember if it was right before that or right after that. They got into this big argument about the other girl's camera.
I
She
think
wanted
it
to
was probably after that, because they thought, because of the other technologies, they thought that the camera was going to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm like,
And
it would make sense why. It's like, my God. And so, and then we get introduced to, like, once we actually get to like a certain part of the film, like when they actually are able to get into this computer, we actually find out that Laura is actually a hacker. And I'm like, what? Where did this come from?
yeah, that was kind of out of nowhere. I mean, they alluded to it earlier, basically talking about how she's more than what they think she is. They kind of alluded to it. And I'm gonna backtrack to the camera for a minute because I'm gonna say it made sense to me. Not Danny, but Eli, he was all upset about this camera. He wanted to get rid of it. Given the events that just happened, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. Let's get rid of the camera. But then in a little while, his computer shows up and he completely reverses field, and that kind of threw me. I'm like, okay, that's kind of flimsy. If we're gonna have a fit about this camera, we're definitely getting rid of this computer, which is easily a lot more sentient than this camera. So that's
Yeah, so, and just so that way they're secure on the computer before it goes all Skynet again. Laura hacks into it, which is, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
but then here's the funniest thing about that scene. While they're doing that, for like a split second, it's a it's like a video of like pornography for
Oh,
like a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
split
yeah.
second, and I'm like, okay.
And everybody's kind of looking at Eli like, oh, okay, let's see what you got going on all
And
the time.
then Garrett's like, they made a video and everything. That's crazy. And I'm like, that sounds like a stoner.
Yeah, that was a pretty good moment when they do that. And it wasn't Dan, it was the other kid. There was the two other kids who were
They're like
uh
the kind of like Limp Bizkit kids.
yeah, they were definitely like Limp Bizkit or wanted to be like Limp Bizkit, and we get a quick impromptu rap battle. It was strange, but
Yeah, because especially hold on. Let me fix that here really quick. Well, especially since one of them is literally wearing the hat, like the way that
right,
it's intended to.
right, right, and we eventually. Well, I will say one of my other more interesting moments happens when they're we find out the computer's plans, and then things go haywire again, and they're being chased through the woods, and Eli and Rachel, they wind up in a porta potty, and I was waiting for it to happen because it's sliding down this hill, and nothing's going on inside, but we get the romantic music kind of playing while they're sliding down this hill in a porta potty, and then it turns over, and then all hell breaks loose. I thought that was a pretty good moment. That was one of my favorite moments
Like
in
when
the
you
movie.
see something involving a porta potty, you could already imagine like where things are going.
Oh
Like,
yeah, absolutely,
especially when they
absolutely.
go down the hill, I'm like, wait, is there stuff that's gonna come out of it? And then 3, 2, 1, boom, stuff comes out of it.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was watching, I'm like, okay, this is awfully neat for a porta potty. What's going on here? And then it happens,
And
and that
when I
was
saw
pretty
that,
good.
I'm like, oh god. Nasty.
Very nasty, very much so. But it made for a good moment. And shortly after that is where all the Limp Bizkit talk pays off because they had been talking about Limp Bizkit a lot through the movie, and it all pays off because none other than Fred Durst actually shows up in the movie. Did you expect that when you saw it first time?
Well, also to be completely fair, another thing that they did, I was waiting for it to happen. I was like, come on, Durst. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And then he shows up. I'm like, yes. Again, one of the biggest things I hate about trailers nowadays, they tend to show a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They they only showed him in the trailer for like a split second. Um, and I'm just like, you couldn't have just saved that for the movie?
Yeah, I didn't see the trailer, so I didn't have any idea that he was actually in the movie. I heard them talking him up, and after a while, it got to be like, okay, maybe he'll show up for a bit at the end, and when he showed up, definitely was not the end. And then I was like, okay, well, maybe we'll kind of do a Bill Murray thing, and he won't be here long. But that wasn't the case. So, so they got a lot of mileage out of Fred Durst in this movie. That was cool to see, actually, and the hat actually got a lot of mileage out of the hat too. That was
Yeah, and
pretty
then
fun.
right before they head down to the school, like where the whole mayhem is taking place, um, they just break shit in the video store with break stuff in the background by Limp
Hmm.
Bizkit.
Hmm. Now I'm gonna say this. I was disappointed they didn't play it longer, and uh, he actually gets up on stage to sing it at some point, and not no, I'm sorry, that's not Break Stuff, that's Faith.
Yeah, it's
He
Faith from his first
a little bit
album.
late. I'll come back to Faith, but yeah, Break Stuff, that was great. That was great. When we get a little further, I'll come back to Faith. They did come up with a plan to stop the robots, and it was most certainly, absolutely Independence Day. They even mentioned it in the movie. That was cool. That goes back to the kind of meta thing that you were talking about. So I definitely appreciated that. We have Smirk 88 just showed up. What's going on, Smirk?
Smirk
And
88, what's up?
just going back to what we were talking about. Yeah, movie number one is Y2K. It's on Netflix, guys. It just came out a few months ago, right? Is that right?
It's on digital as far as I know, because the movie itself was released in theaters the first week of December, but it got a digital release on Christmas Eve.
Okay. I thought I watched it on. Did I watch it on? I might
Here,
not
let
have
me
watched it
let me
on.
take a look and see where it's on right now. If it's on anywhere.
No, I
Y2K.
I
No,
watched.
I think you might have either I think you probably rented it.
Yeah, I watched the movie for my last movie swap was on Netflix. Sorry, guys. So, so yeah, you're gonna have to kind of hunt down Y2K, but it should show up on streaming services pretty soon. Um,
it, it it's probably gonna be on Max here pretty soon, since there's a lot of A24 films that go to Max.
yeah. Now I'll say this: you brought up A24. You did mention it earlier. It felt different to me than other A24 films.
It kind of felt the most mainstream out of any A24 film.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it didn't quite. I mean, it was cool that it was A24. Like, I didn't expect it to be A24, but it still is interesting to think that it is, though, because of how mainstream it is aside from other A24 films. Like,
Yeah.
you think of something like you think of something like Heretic. That is not as mainstream as Y2K is. That is more to like the religious horror side, and it's
Mhm.
not like super mainstream.
right when you nowadays, I mean, A24 has a reputation, of being what they're calling, elevated horror. It's a lot of high concept, a lot of twists and turns, and often it's moody and dark, and this is none of those things. So like you said, it's a lot more mainstream, and I was a pleasant surprise. I wasn't expecting that. That comes with its own issues. I'll get into that a little bit later on what that issue is for me. Anyway, and I think it's a personal thing, not a movie thing. Not the fault of the movie. Let me put it that way. Um,
Right.
but yeah, it was a pleasant surprise that it wasn't like other A24 movies, because with most of them, you got to put on your thinking cap and watch very carefully when you're watching them. And this didn't quite do that. Um, so oh, Faith. Let's go back to Faith. This was the part that was disappointing to me. Uh he's singing Faith, and we never get the beat drop of the chorus where he just starts going crazy.
Yeah, that is actually kind of unfortunate now that I think about it, but I mean, but he did say though that um his bandmates weren't there to help him. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I was waiting for it. I was like, okay, he's getting to the part. He's getting to the part, and then it didn't come. I was, oh, come on,
yeah.
Fred. What are we doing? Who came? Whose idea was this? Um, we got some other meta references in there, the Men in Black and some other movies, and at the end we get the whole 5 years later deal. We get to see what everybody's up to, and Fred Durst gets to be a senator, and that was cool. It was pretty cool to see. All right, anything that we didn't touch on that you want, any aspects of the movie that we didn't touch on that you wanted to talk about?
I did want to talk about two things.
Okay.
One, we didn't talk about how Garrett gets killed.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, go for it.
So um so Eli and Laura separate for like a few minutes of the movie. Garrett and Laura fought in the crew and um against this like big computer. Um and then Garrett grabs out these like, what are these supposed to be, like fighting bamboo sticks?
Yeah.
Um he tries to use them to fight against the computer, but and as soon as he starts running up there, arm gets cut off and then his head gets cut off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how'd that pan out for you?
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. That was a pretty good one.
That was funny. But and then the other scene is also what you were referring to 5 years later. This scene actually kind of tugged at my heartstrings a little bit. It was the scene when Laura and Eli are actually visiting Danny's grave for a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't lie to you. Like, the stuff that he said to Danny in his passing actually really kind of touched my heart. And also, the song choice that they had at the very end of the film before cuts to black and then hits credits. Semisonic's Closing Time. And is it just me, or do they have this android, like this computer looking android that looks like something that was pulled out of the Lawnmower Man?
Yeah. Yeah.
It,
Pretty much.
it I can't lie to you. It looked like something pulled out of the Lawnmower Man, and I was like, "Why am I watching Lawnmower Man, or am I watching Y2K?" But I mean, regardless of that, I mean, I still love the movie, and like, also the funniest part about that ending is also as the song is playing, it like the iPod glitches a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then it shows that Lawnmower Man looking dude on there, and then cuts to black, directed by Kyle Mooney.
Yeah. I definitely wrote down set up for a sequel. Um, I guess you call it Y2K2. I don't know, but
I can probably see them doing kind of the same thing, but with if it was a zombie apocalypse with COVID called C-19.
That would be cool.
I could see
All
them
right.
doing that.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. All right. So I'm going to give my final thoughts on Y2K. Um, this is a fun movie. It's a turn your brain off kind of deal. Just kind of watch it and just let it roll over you. Um, Especially if you're into slasher flicks. I guess this is kind of sort of a slasher. Um, but yeah, you get a lot of creative kills, and we've mentioned a few of them here in the movie, and there's a lot of fun moments along the way. Like we said earlier, it starts off kind of like super bad. You mentioned it kind of turns into this is the end. The actual movie that I wrote down that it also reminded me of was Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. I don't know
It
if you've
kind of
seen
does
that.
have vibes of that one too.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I got a lot of vibes of that. But yeah, this is the end where he's just as well. The couple of disappointments that I had with it. One was kind of from my own personal experience. Like I said, living through Y2K, I was kind of looking for it. Uh, how this affected the world at large, right? So, and really, we got everything concentrated in this one town, and so I was kind of looking for more. And I had the same issue with the first Purge movie. It was like, okay, you told me everything is going on all over the place, but it's concentrated. Everything is concentrated in this house. So that's kind of how I was feeling about that. That was my big misgiving with it. And then when I saw the A24 logo at the beginning, I was like, okay, we're gonna go there, but we never quite went there. That said, I still do like the movie. It was fun. It's just one that I could definitely see going back to and just having a blast. And or hey, you want to see something fun and crazy, and just turning that on, and just having a good time eating popcorn and talking loud over it. So I did definitely enjoy Y2K. Great call.
Yeah, I'm glad I put this one on my list actually. Now that I think about it, because actually the day it came out to digital because I wasn't able to see it in the theater. I watched it like
Mhm.
twice in that one day.
Okay.
That was literally how much fun I had with it. Like the second time I watched it, I was like, "This is even better." So
It's yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's a blast to watch. Um, it's not gonna it's not gonna win any awards. It's not gonna make people rethink life or anything like that, and it's not gonna traumatize you. This isn't Hereditary or Midsummer or some of those other movies, but it's fun, and
yeah,
that's all you need sometimes, right?
yeah. Just sometimes like the movies I would recommend to people are just one of those ones where it's like if you need something to just keep you relaxed or just turn your brain off and just shove popcorn in your mouth, I think now Y2K is going to be one of my go tos.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of other ones I could also choose with this one as well. So,
Oh, you could pair it with a lot of movies, that's for sure.
oh, for sure, dude, for
Yeah, you
sure.
can definitely pair it and make a good double feature with something else.
Like, you could watch this as like a little easy breather before you start laughing your ass off with this is the end.
Yeah, yeah, that'll work. That'll
So,
work.
now that I think about it, I got to try that sometime. I got to try that.
Hey, nothing wrong with that at all. All right.
For sure.
Before we go to the second movie, I'm just reaching over again. Just again, if anybody here popped in, did not realize, did not know, giveaway I was doing a couple of weeks ago on my channel. I'm still waiting. I want more people in the giveaway. Basically, is what I'm saying. I got a few names there. I am giving away Criterion Blu-ray of The Big Chill. So if you would like it after the video is over, after the stream is over, check the uh, the description. Sorry, check the description of this video. I should have a link to that video, and you'll go over there and put hashtag chill in the comment section. That lets me know that you are interested in winning that criterion. All right, so let's go on to movie number two, my movie, and it is a martial arts classic, the 36th Chamber of Shaolin. Um, Quick rundown on this movie. We meet a young man. He's in college. Well, actually, before we meet the young man, we see there's a lot of civil unrest happening. The Manchus have invaded this area, and they're running things. And we got some people who are rebelling, trying to keep that from happening. And we get lots of fighting and death early on. Mainly, we get the main teacher's death, and then we get the best friend's death of our main character. Our main character is at this time called Lee Yudu, or UUD, excuse me. And I say at this time because later on he gets a different name. He's played by Gordon Liu, who is an icon in the genre. And at this time, his character is one of the college students or students, and he is. They were rebelling, but he's had to escape because now he's wanted, and one of his friends decides, hey, you know what? To fight back, we need to learn kung fu. This is feudal China, so this is before the days of guns. Really, we need to find a way to fight back. We need to go to Shaolin, which is where the best martial artists are. All the monks up there are fantastic at it. We need to go up there and learn it. And on the way, the best friend gets killed. He makes it and starts training with the monks to learn Shaolin Kung Fu. All right. Now, you, sir, we've talked about horror being your favorite genre. We talked about musical biopics, and this kind of fits into the action pick into action because you mentioned action. Well, other than this being one of the movies that you hadn't seen, or was this the only movie you hadn't seen on my list?
No, this was there were it was this and two other movies that you had on your list that I had not seen.
Okay, so why go with this one before we even get into the actual movie?
I'm gonna be honest, like when I saw the title of it, I was like, oh, this sounds like kind of martial arts kind of stuff. I mean, I like martial arts movies, but when it comes to like action movies, martial arts is not always my go-to.
Right.
Like my go-to kind of action movies are basically kind of mostly revenge flicks. Like those are my go-tos when it comes to action movies.
Hmm.
So, but like I said, this one interested me the most because it was martial arts, and I wanted to kind of dive deeper into a little bit of martial arts because I don't watch a lot of that stuff. Like I said, um, like I've only watched like one Bruce Lee movie, which is Enter the Dragon,
Hmm.
and yeah, there's really not much else I can add to that.
Okay. Uh,
But
Not a
yeah,
lot of Jackie Chan.
I watched a little bit of Jackie Chan,
Okay.
and I was of course familiar with Jackie Chan, but it's just not all of his films like really appeal to me. Like, I'm trying to think of like one in particular that I really enjoyed that Jackie Chan did.
Rush
Um,
Hour is a big one. Everybody loves Rush Hour and
of
Rush Hour
course,
2.
yeah, I love Rush Hour. Um, but I was trying to think of like some of his more like smaller films for a second before I get into that one. Um, let me see. Rush Hour.
While you doing that, Emmett popped in. What's going on, Emmett?
What's up,
Let me
Emmett?
see.
Oh, that's right. He did Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights. I forgot about those two
Yeah.
movies. Um, but I know he also did films like Mr. Nice Guy,
Mhm.
Jackie Chan's First Strike, Police Story. Like,
He's got a lengthy filmography.
it's a lot. I mean, oh yeah, this was actually the one I've enjoyed the most. Like before I saw, but besides Rush Hour, like I would say, like out of his solo films, which is Rumble in the Bronx.
Yeah, Rumble in the Bronx was awesome. All right. So there is for this movie, there is a revenge factor. There's a heavy revenge factor in this movie.
Yes,
There was definitely a revenge factor. All right. So I mean, So this sounds like it's a lot different from most of what you're used to as far as when you have watched martial arts, being set so far back and definitely made in the 70s, even though you've seen Into the Dragon. This is a little after that. Um, how were you on that opening scene where we get the big brawl in the I guess it's not a courtyard, but they were out in the open there.
That brawl was crazy. Like, like amazing choreography.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, with anything martial arts, you're gonna expect really good choreography. But with this one, it's like not too many like heavy edits or heavy cuts. Like there was like a lot of great choreography and a lot of great stunt work that really went into those fight scenes. So,
Oh,
and usually like when it comes to fight scenes in movies, especially when you do martial arts fights, I appreciate it when there's not as many cuts because doing so many cuts is the laziest way to film an action sequence, in my opinion.
absolutely.
Like,
You are preaching to the core.
oh, I don't know what happened.
Uh, I'm not sure if you could see me or hear me during that time. Mine
No,
went.
I can see you.
Okay. All right. My laptop just kind of went haywire for a second, but yeah, I'm totally with you on the cuts. That's my biggest pet peeve when I'm watching action movies because you're just hiding your actor at that point.
Like, I would rather them use more shaky cam rather than cuts
Yeah,
because
I agree with that.
with shaky cam, like you can at least tell that there's still the actor actually doing the stunt. Like,
Yeah,
let me give a prime example. Like Monkey Man. Like there is a lot of shaky cam in that movie, but you can still tell that it's not like heavy cuts.
right, right.
So eh,
On the flip side of that is most Marvel movies. There's so many cuts from during those fight scenes in most of those movies. And I love Marvel movies, but MCU movies, but there's so many cuts, and that's one of the reasons why the Winter Soldier stands out, and even Black Widow, believe it or not. There's not as many cuts. You actually get to see the actors doing the fighting, and I really appreciate that about those two movies. And old school martial arts is definitely good for that. If you want a newer school martial arts movie, I don't know if you've seen The Raid and The Raid 2,
I've
awesome
seen
movie.
only the first one though. I still have not seen the Raid 2.
More awesome fight scenes. It's a longer movie with more plot, but it is still awesome, awesome fight scenes in that movie. Um, for this one, we get this set up with you know we get the students, we get Lou uh, and the other students and the teachers. We're all trying to decide what's going on, what's going to happen, and did I don't want to say how you feel about it, but where did you eh, did you think they were all going to make it out? Let me put I don't know if that's even a good question though.
Honestly, not really. Like the way that they were setting it up, I was like, they're not all gonna make it out. There's no way.
Right, right, right.
So
And okay, I think the better question is this. Okay, so him and his best friend were on the road and they run into the bad guys, and instead of staying hidden or running they came out and they got the bad guys kind of asked them a question instead of answering the question because I don't think that they knew who they were. They were instead of just answering the question, kind of going about their business, they just take off running through the woods. I was say you idiots. How so or am I the only one? Am I the dumb one? What'd you think about that scene there?
that was such a stupid mistake. Um, like don't just go darting off into the woods after they ask you something like that.
Yeah.
Like like maybe stay hidden, but don't go darting off. Like go like
Yeah. Yeah. it was real suspicious there. I was like, okay, you just look guilty now.
Like,
Okay,
you're just, it's like by that point, like when you see them doing that, it's just like you're losing your credibility for actually being a smart character.
right, right, right. And I'll give them. I'll say, okay, yeah, you're frightened at that point, and I understand, but it was still a dumb move. Um, so we only our main character, he survives and makes it onto the Shaolin Temple, and it takes a while before he's all in out of sorts. He's battered and he's got to heal, and then he's working for a year doing nothing, or doing nothing that he wants to do, I should say. And then he finally gets to start training on the kung fu. Uh, how were you on these training sessions?
I mean, I love a good training montage, but I forgot how long they were really using the training scenes in the movie. I think they were using them for like a good 20 minutes.
Yeah, he was in there for a while for most of them. Some were a little bit shorter, but for most of them, he was in there for a while.
Yeah, I think they could have really trimmed that down just a little bit because I felt the training montages were really starting to overstay their welcome by the time it got like to like the 600th part of the training montage.
No,
I know I'm
at that
exaggerating that
point,
number, but I don't care.
I got you. But at that point, is it a montage, or cause for me, it was just always that's the way the movie's going. It's not. It's not even a montage at that point. It's just. It's pretty long.
I mean, at the same time, I can kind of see that where it's like that's the way the movie's going, but it's just the way that they were handling it where I'm just like, okay, cut it back a notch here a little bit.
Okay. Okay. I got you. Any of those training sessions, any of the chambers that he was in, uh, grab you more than any of the others?
I can't remember like some of like which chambers are which, but they had some really cool chambers though, like with where um the one that I remember distinctly though was when they were going through a course and they have to headbutt stuff.
Yeah, the
Like
the CTE chamber.
the CTE chamber, okay. Yeah, so that's the one I remember distinctly and it was really cool how they represented it in the film, but
Mhm.
if I were to do training like that, I would not want to. Cause
No,
because
no.
not only are you headbutting stuff, you're gonna lose all the wait, how do I say this? Like your back is absolutely going to give out no matter what. And you get the trainer like the dude that they got in the movie, and then they're just like, keep going, go.
Yeah, yeah.
And
You're just giving yourself concussions repeatedly. Is
and
all
I'm
you're
just
doing.
like, can I go to the hospital?
Yeah, they showed the guys after they got through the little sandbag course with their headbutts, and they're all stumbling around and falling over. Nah, you know what? You can skip this part, or I don't want to do this.
There's sandbags for crying out loud, like you said. So why? What? I'm trying to put this lightly. Would that not um give you a headache?
Yeah, that's why they were all falling over and dizzy.
They were just like, oh god, no, whoa, what?
Yeah,
I'm seeing a bunch
exactly.
of colors.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And a big part of martial arts lore is you train something, or you batter something so much that you become numb to it, or it's calloused over. Because in other movies, you'll see a guy punching a tree over and over and over, or even in something like Kill Bill, she did that, and then finally she got to utilize it in the movie when she was punching her way out of the coffin.
yeah. So I mean, hell, like I said with like Monkey Man, like when he does his like his training, he's doing like a bunch of like he's using a punching bag,
Mhm.
but it's like, but it also like you said, it's like one of those like sandbag kind of punching bags.
Yeah,
and it looked like like by that point, like Dev Patel was like putting like all of his blood and sweat into that training.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
Monkey Ball was good. Yeah. Um, so finally, he gets through all the chambers, but he has one of the monks, the higher up monks, before he's allowed to take charge of a chamber, because that was his reward. You get to take charge of a chamber, and the other monk decided, you know what? I got a challenge for you. If you can beat me, you can run any chamber you want. And if not, you just got to keep going back to work. And it wasn't quite the same as the training, but it was a different take on that. Did you enjoy that part of the movie a little better?
I think that was also when the film was actually kind of starting to pick up a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because it was by the time that he was going through like those different chambers where I was like, okay, it's starting to lose me just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But when he gets to that point where where he battles the one dude for to take charge of a chamber, like that's when I was like, okay, now you're starting to get much more interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
What did you think of those weapons?
kick ass, dude, kick ass.
There was
That is some badass stuff right there, dude.
yeah, there was some serious weaponry going on.
Yeah, love it.
Excuse me. Um, and eventually he gets to finally. Well, when he eventually wins, and yeah, let's go ahead and throw up the for anybody who hasn't seen it. Let's go ahead and throw up the spoiler deal. When he finally gets to win, he uh he decides that he doesn't want to take charge of a chamber that exists. He wants to get his own chamber, want to add his own chamber, the 36th chamber, where he gets to go out into the world and teach laymen kung fu. And of course, this is forbidden, so they kind of give him his wish anyway. They kick him out and let him go and try to gather up some people and see that he's worthy. And of course, on his mind is his revenge. So I'm assuming you're a little more in tune with the movie even then, because now he's gonna seek his revenge.
Yes. Um. Yeah, it was also by that point when I was like, okay, let's see what you can do.
Did you notice the payoffs from the training sessions throughout the movie?
There was definitely quite a bit of payoff. Like he used quite a bit some of those techniques he did for the from those chambers, but I mean, I'm kind of fresh off of watching the movie, but again, I'm still a little iffy on some things. Like some things just don't come through like completely,
Okay.
but it was pretty cool. Like with what he did, like crazy stuff, man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that was one of my big things was, yeah, he all the payoffs when he's actually using them in real fighting later at the towards the end of the movie.
Yeah,
And
it was.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
So yeah, I was just gonna say the payoffs is what really also really gets me, that I really enjoyed, and one of my favorite parts of the movie, including, like you said, the headbutt finally towards the end, which was very cool. And I've heard somebody say, if you fight somebody who's willing to headbutt you, you have already lost. You are one of those people, also, because they're probably crazy. Um, all right. One other thing, we talked about the movie. Um, we talked about the way the fight scenes were shot. I'm not sure if you noticed this, but one of the things I like was just the way the movie in general was shot. I don't know if you picked up on that, or did you pick up on that as far as the cinematography in general?
I didn't quite pick up on that for a sec. For a second, I'm not sure exactly what it was.
Oh, you couldn't hear me? I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. I can
Oh,
hear you. Like I was just talking about like the cinematography. Like I didn't know exactly what I was picking up on, but it looks beautiful. Like with the way it's shot.
mhm, mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
No, I was done. So that's also one of the things that I enjoyed, and this is just a kind of me question. Did you watch it subbed or dubbed?
I was hoping to watch it sub, but unfortunately I got the dub version. But
Ah,
most of the time I can't stand watching dub movies unless it's the anime.
hmm,
But with movies like Battle Royale or The Raid, it's like I can't watch those dubbed.
right, right.
So, but with
I
this one, it wasn't a huge issue. So,
Okay. I watched it this time uh subbed, but growing up, because I've seen this movie probably a dozen times, if not more. Growing up, when I used to watch, it used to come on TV, and it was always dubbed then. So that's how I knew the movie. So I didn't see the sub version until the first time until probably 2 years ago was about the first time. And yeah, I've always enjoyed sub more since I've opened my mind, but that was years ago. Um, all right. Any other aspects of the 36 Chamber of Shaolin that we didn't touch on?
um, not really that I can pick up on.
Okay. Okay.
So,
It's pretty straightforward revenge flick. And I will let you go ahead and have the floor for your final thoughts, just overall. Any other gripes with it? Any things you liked about it, and how well you liked it overall? Overall, how well you liked
like I said, with a couple of the scenes in the with the chambers, like how long some of them lasted, it kind of tended to overstay its welcome kind of bit. And it and to be completely honest, it was also by that point where I think the films really started to really run slow for me.
it? Mhm.
Like it was at that point where I was kind of feeling the pacing, where I was just like, "Oh boy, this is worrying me. Come on, pick back up." And then once we get out of all that, and we get to the challenge part of the movie, like I said, that's when it picks up a lot more steam. But as for overall, though, I really, really enjoyed this. Um, some great fight sequences. I really enjoyed the camera work, and the weapons that they use during the fight sequences are top notch.
Yes.
So yeah, not too many gripes with this one. Just again, I think like the chamber exploration could have been delved down just a little bit, and
Mhm.
also I think and again during that time it runs very slow.
Yeah, I
So
understand that. For me, like this is one of my all-time favorite martial arts movies. So, and I'm biased from that point, and I've seen it so many times, so it never runs slow for me. But I can totally understand where you are coming from. So, but in the end, you enjoyed it, so I will take that as a win. So it looks like we got a win-win tonight because I definitely enjoyed YK,
yes, sir.
and I had a blast with that one. And we are gonna go ahead and get ready to put this episode to bed. Before we do, sir, I'm gonna give you the floor and just tell people where to find you, either YouTube or other social media, whatever you want to do. What have you got coming up? Just let us know.
All right. So you guys can find me here on YouTube. My first and last name, right there. Oh, where we going? Okay, it's on the banner now.
Let me put it back. There you
This
go.
may be messing with me. But yeah, my name is right there, Luke Ponto. You guys can find me on my channel right there. You guys can also find me on Instagram at LukePonto23. I post a lot more physical media content on there, so check that out. Um, also am on Letterboxd at Luke Ponto. So if you guys want to see what I watch and what I log, come check me out there. As far as I got coming up for YouTube stuff, not sure exactly what I'm going to see in theaters this weekend. I'm probably going to be seeing Dogman. I mean, that one's a for sure I'm going to be seeing, but I'm not sure when I will review it. Same thing with Companion. I'm not sure if I'm going to see it or not because it's not looking super likely that my theater is going to get it. But if they do, I'll see it and get out a review for you guys. And also, next Sunday I have a watch along coming up for Twisters. So if you guys enjoy Twisters and you want to watch it on stream or just in the chat with me, come check it out.
Cool. I need to watch Twisters myself. I have not seen it yet. Um, I don't know. I think since I'm not the biggest fan of the first Twister, I've not been in a rush. So
Well, I'll tell you this. It doesn't connect to the first film. Like it's its own thing. So
okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna check it out. It's just a matter of when, and I don't know when. All right. Well,
okay.
for me, of course, you can find me right here, Delon Movies. Not sure exactly when my next movie swap is. I'll let you know. I got a few videos in the works, and hopefully they'll be up in the next few days. At least one of them will be up in the next few days. Certainly next week. I know I'm not the most consistent YouTuber, so forgive me. But that's all I got for you guys. Again, thanks for hanging out with me. If you've been here before, thanks for hanging out with me again. Thank you again, Luke, for coming on. Much, much appreciated. And for everybody else out there, bye-bye.
Peace.